Hello Porsche Files. So a little ways back I reviewed this Fuelme branded model of the Royal Ocean 993. It's an okay model, but the wheels are not accurate to the real car. It's kind of lame actually. They don't have any lug nuts, I don't know how you meant to mount a wheel without a lug nuts or a center knockoff, which it doesn't have either. So other than that though, everything else on the model is quite fantastic. It's a resin model, so it has the super thin windows and extra pieces everywhere, and so it's great. But it was good enough for me to take another chance on this brand, and here we go. It's the one that looks like the photographs here. So it's a Gunther Werks 400R. So I knew nothing about this car in the real world. I just knew it looked like a Porsche somewhat, but it seems to be like a body kit, or well, more than that actually. It's like a Singer Porsche. I believe they're based out of Huntington Beach, California. And what they do is they take a 993 and then, modify almost the entire thing and charge $570,000 or more. Okay. So let's see here. This packaging, Nardole ash color, Nardole, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, nothing on the back there. $164. I don't see anything about, well, it does say trademarked copyright and stuff, so maybe it is approved by Gunther Werks. Not sure. It's definitely expensive enough that it should be. Okay, let's see. I think it's taped together. Yes. Alright, so while I'm doing this, I'll talk a little bit more. So, they take a 993, they keep the interior chassis bits, the unibody, but then all the exterior carbon goes carbon. All the exterior panels become carbon fiber, and then it's also over fendered 6 inches or 3 inches per side, so 6 inches wider overall, front and rear. And then they take the engine and they bore it out to 4 liters, and that makes it 430 horsepower, and it's been faster around Willow Springs than the 991 GT3 RS as well as a 991 Turbo S. So it's basically faster than a modern 911, but it's also $570,000 and up. I read a Motor Trend article where it costs like 700 grand for the car he was test driving. Alright, well, it seems to be one of these limited edition things here. I think Fuelme only does limited runs. I think 048, number 48 of 999 of this color, I'm assuming. Alright, so it's an acrylic base, I believe. I think it's two pieces of acrylic glued together. That's what this blob is. It's acrylic glue, and then screwed on with 2 pieces. This is so nice. I'm not gonna take it off the base. But let's compare it to these photographs here. If I can try to get a focal point kind of in between. And so unfortunately, that's a dark color. I'm not sure where that is. That photograph looks like a golf course of some sort. Okay, well, let's try this view here. 25 of these cars were slated to be made. They were sold out immediately, even at that $500,000 and up price. So I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think about that? Is a 993, no matter how modified, worth over $570,000? You see, I'm not a rich person, so I don't think like rich people. If I was going to pay $570,000 for a modified 993, I would probably already own 20 other Porsches. That's just me. I see no reason to destroy a perfectly good 993, unless maybe they're taking wrecked 993s. If you're taking wrecked vehicles, then yeah, obviously, it makes sense to make it look nice again. But I wouldn't want to take a regular 993 that's in perfectly good condition and then just drop $500,000 into it to make it look like this. I would rather just buy a whole different car for $500,000. What do you guys think? What would you do if you had that kind of money? Alright, well, let's start with the review here. Unfortunately, this thing has black wheels. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to maybe get the flashlight because I cannot really see much of it. So it looks like the wheels are like multi-piece, like there's perimeter bolts going around the edge. And then there's a disc brake system. It looks like a silver caliper. And then the rotor is just black, like cross-drilled black. Probably mimicking carbon ceramic brakes, which makes sense. I'm sure that's why, again, why this car costs a lot of money. Alright. The tires look okay. They don't look like truck tires. You know, they do have treads on them, but the side blocks aren't too large here. Alright. So this Porsche decal is looking pretty good. I think it's on the surface of the paint though. I can feel smooth. I can feel the roughness. I can feel it catching that decal edge. So that's unfortunate. The reason why is it might crack off in the future. But what is nice is, if you look at the door panel cuts, the decal is not there. I don't know how they did that. Is that an air gap under? Let me zoom in here because it's so small. You can clearly see the decal edge, but at the same time, you don't see it covering the gap of the door panel. It's almost like there's 3 decals there. So that's actually pretty impressive. I've never seen a decal that well done where they bent it into the door recess, or maybe they cut the decal. I don't know, but it's good. You know, it's better than having an air gap bridging the door panel gap. You know, so it's much more realistic looking. Unfortunately, if you look under this magnification, the door handle itself is pretty lame. It looks like a blob. It doesn't look very well defined, not like a real door handle should. So that's a bit of a letdown. There's also a contaminant in the decal from the rear wheel. You see that black mark there? Okay. The side mirrors, side windows are those sheet plastics, so they're extremely clear. You can watch television through that if you wanted to. And then it seems to have like a photo etched metal piece that's painted black to represent the molding, or the window frame. Okay, so those mirrors do have a reflective sticker. You can't get better than that. And while we're here, I guess we might as well look at this interior because it's rare for me to actually get it to focus. There's the door side. So the door looks like it's carbon fiber, and then it's got a red trim on the top. The steering wheel itself is just black, or is there a logo in there? We might have to check on the other side, but you can see the instrument cluster actually has gauges going on, so that's nice. And then the dashboard also has a carbon fiber texture on the top, but then it's a red vertical surface, and it looks like there's a radio there. So that's pretty neat. Let me try to... the window's so reflective. Alright, so there we can see some sort of stuff going on the dashboard. Radio, HVAC system. The shifter is just like a blobby red thing. The e-brake there. And then red racing seats with carbon backing. So the back of those seats are carbon fiber, and then it's got red cushions or something. Going to the back, what is that thing there? Is that a fire extinguisher bottle? I thought for a second it might be the transmission, but no, it can't be. It's resting on a carbon fiber interior. So, you can see, yeah, the interior is covered in a decal, I think, of all carbon fiber. Because, as I mentioned, they replace a lot of the panels with carbon fiber on these Gunthers. So, the defroster lines are kind of weird. They're not straight, they're wavy, as if they were, like, etched or something. Something's odd about them, right? They're not straight lines. They're like wavy gold lines. So this is a case where if you can't do it right, just don't do it. You know, I think it would be better without the defroster lines, because if you look at the photographs of the real car, you can't see any lines anyways. Alright, but it does have the black metal, you know, window molding glued onto this little sheet plastic. And then also that sheet plastic on the back side has the black molding as well, the blackout of the window. This is pretty impressive. This looks like a metallic grate. And it's on top of, or what's going on here? There's a metal grate but I think maybe on top of it is this thing, probably supposed to be carbon fiber, this frame, and then there's a chrome X brace underneath it. So that looks pretty neat. Whoa. I'm looking at the Porsche name. I think these are individual letters. It's raised. So this takes the cake. This is the nicest badging I've ever seen on any 1/64 scale model, because it's literally individual pieces and they're straight. So I'm sure they were like backed by tape put on here, and then they removed the tape. But most of the time it'd just be a decal, and you'd see like wrinkly stuff here, or like a foil sticker, but you'd still see some sort of clear plastic. Or like some Ferrari badges, it's just one piece of metal and all the letters are blended together to be one piece of photo etched metal. But these, I believe, are photo etched pieces of metal painted black and individually placed on that car. Wow, so that's something else right there. Very impressive. Alright, taillights are nicely done, you know. Although this side looks like it's sticking out of the body a little too much. This side looks flush. I think I saw that on the other 993 I have, the Royal Ocean. So that's poorly molded, or poorly inserted. It's nice to see Gunther Werks here on the license plate. And then extremely thin, extremely round and shiny exhaust tips with depth in the middle. So I don't know if those are plastic or metal, but they're so thin I kind of feel that those might be made of metal. This little thing here is a vent, it's going in, so it's just darkness, I think. But let me tilt it, get a different angle. Let's see. I don't know if there's a grill in there. It almost looks like there might be a grill. Yeah, look at that. There's actually a texture in that tiny horizontal slot. And then there's an indication of the exhaust system there. There's some tread pattern as well. Looks pretty good. Alright, well, that's pretty good so far, I guess. So the front end, we have separate turn signals, not paint. You know, lazy brands like Ignition would have paint there. But these are not only plastic, they have a texture on the backside. The headlights also, they have printing on the backside, that weird illuminating ring. So that's good. And then some little ribbing there and a bulb there. So there's a foil sticker of the Porsche crest. Let's try to get in on that. No, I can't go any further. This is 4 times magnification, so it's alright. Okay. These vents here, I don't know if there's any sort of grills. Yep, well there's a... Wow. Yep, I think those are metal grills with air behind them. Hold on, I gotta hit the focus again. I don't have 3 hands. Alright. So look at that. It's a really fine mesh grill, but you can clearly see as I move the thing around, the light shifts a little bit. So there's air behind those grills. So that's very, very impressive. That's just... yeah, alright. Pretty cool. So at the top of the hood, there's also a metal insert there with a small black texture, you know, for the little inlet to the interior. I'm gonna guess that's where that air goes. You'll see there's a rearview mirror, and it's glued to the backside of the windshield. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, how did they do that? You know? And it also looks like there's a black, maybe that's a black paint dot to hide the glue. So, I don't know how they do that. If there's a fixture for them to mount that, I mean, it's, how do you glue it so perfectly? It's amazing. So these wiper blades are also photo etched pieces of metal. You know, there's two pieces there. These little bumps for the fluid, though, are pretty weak. They're really blobby looking. They're not very precise. I mean, when you compare it to how precise this fuel filler door is, that's precise, right? Really sharp edges. This is really blobby. Separate mirror here. Yeah. This is what the reflective inserts we went over. So, okay. That was under 4 times magnification. I didn't really see any big problems, I guess. So if you look at this taillight here now, let me try to get a better wide angle. It's not sticking out a great deal. It's still sticking out more than that side, but it's not much. It's only under 4 times magnification. Then you can see it's sticking out quite a bit, whereas that side is definitely flush. So, no, I don't think it can go well. Yeah, it's not worth trying to fix. But you'll see the smoothness of the paint. I'm pretty sure this was polished after it was painted. I don't see how they could, well, I don't know, it's just so smooth. Look at the reflection of the pick. Even down here, where usually it gets orange peel, it's pretty smooth looking. Alright. Oh, this side of the dashboard, let's see. Ah, boy, it's so the window's so shiny now. It's reflecting the texture of my photo booth. Alright, whoa, I think I found the spot. Alright, so the instruments are really good. Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking dashboard, right? The middle, everything. It is weird that there's nothing on the center of the steering wheel, though. You know, there would probably be a Porsche crest or maybe some sort of Gunther Werks logo, right? So that was skipped out. You can see the back side of the seats here, how they have the carbon fiber decal or whatnot on there. But it is weird that there's no seat belts. You know, that's something I would expect to see on a model costing this much. Alright. Okay. Well, let's compare it to a couple other models. They're going to be lower grade, though. So, Kyosho, let's see. This is based on the 993, so I have a 993 Turbo from Kyosho, but it's from the first Porsche collection, so it's definitely not very good. It is molded in mirrors, and something's just off about it. It looks really blobby, you know, not really crisply defined panel gaps or anything like that. But later on, from a different Porsche collection of Kyosho, there's a 911 Turbo S, but I think this is the 997. And this one is screwed together, so I could easily replace the wheels. And I painted the interior, and you can just see the crispness of the panel gaps. Let me do a top view, that might be helpful. So there's something about this Porsche, it's just definitely better than the first Kyosho collection. They definitely improved. But, you know, the Fuelme is still, it's definitely way beyond any Kyosho, but it should be for the price, right? Alright, so I guess that's it for the comparisons. We'll just let this guy spin up here on its own. Alright, well, I'm glad I got this thing because it made me learn a little bit about Gunther Werks and the fact that these things are $500,000, more than $500,000, and it's really just a modified 993. Model-wise, there are really no major defects. You know, that one taillight maybe sticks out a tiny bit, but to the naked eye, most people probably wouldn't even notice that. And then I just kind of feel like maybe the interior could have used a little more detail, like the steering wheel has nothing on it. But then again, I didn't look up interiors of a Gunther Werks. Maybe that's accurate. I gotta say though, I am impressed that the entire interior is like covered in carbon fiber and red. You know, there's no plain surfaces on that interior. The wheels, I'm sure they're quite nice, but the color choice, obviously it hides a lot of the details. And there's definitely no logo in the center of those wheels. I do feel that should be on a model costing this much money, because you'll see it on models that cost half or less than half that money with center cap details. Alright, so that's really my only criticisms. So, Fuelme, yeah, you're doing a good job, I think, all in all. I kind of hope you do some different castings, some more castings, because I don't really want to have a whole collection of 911s. But we'll have to wait and see with what else you guys come out with. Alright, guys, well, thanks, Porsche Files, and we'll see you the next time I get another Porsche in. Thanks for watching.